good things are worth waiting for, and this is a good thing. So we are lucky enough to be joined by Amy Beaudoin from Visier, Product Marketing Director. And she's going to be telling us why competitive intel is not a feature-by-feature comparison. And super psyched for the topic. Amy, feel free to take it away.
Sounds good. Thanks for that great introduction, Gary. So yeah, just a little bit too about me. So I actually just joined Visier recently. Super excited, but we're a people analytics solution. And in my last role, I had the awesome opportunity to actually meet and be able to do a webinar with one of my heroes, which is April Dunford. She is really one of the best product marketers out there. She's written a book, Obviously Awesome, which really helps a lot with positioning and messaging. But yeah, this comes up a lot. Really the background for this is that, if we want to just go to the origin slide there, Gary, is that, a lot of times with sales teams, they will often say, I'm going against this competitor, and I'm having an issue because I don't know if, how deep into this particular functionality that we've got. But oftentimes that can be kind of limiting, and sometimes you can't compete at all. So you want to make sure, of course, that you've got MVP for the market, that you corner off a lot of the use cases that are out there. But it's very difficult if you're trying to go feature by feature, because oftentimes you don't have that information. You can look on their support site to try to get a sense of it. In some cases, you can get obviously a demo of the actual product. But sometimes, again, you're not going to be keeping up with what's going on that they're in terms of their innovation. So you could actually provide false information, which would really reduce, your sales team's reputation in the market. So you don't want that. So really what I found is that obviously functionality is still important, but it is also good to talk about other things. And one of the things that we're coming across a lot, particularly in my last role, I was really talking about, we had change management software required process improvement. And so because of that, the sales component or the services component was really, really important. And we actually had, sort of over 10 years of experience to be able to help walk people through each phase of that cycle, make sure that they brought all the key stakeholders. We had lots of documents supporting that. We had things in our university that really walked customers through. So it was a huge difference from our competitors. And one of the things that we also did was in our win-loss program, a lot of the quotes that we got, we would anonymize them, but we would also talk about that particular services piece. I remember one of the customers was even talking about the fact that our competitor was quite combative and really inflexible. So again, you want to highlight those things if you're going against a competitor that has those issues. Next would really be, again, just the overall customer experience, as I've been talking about, but product review sites are good to take a look at that. But even like app responsiveness, again, if there's a DAM or something that's going to be sucking up a lot of bandwidth with the application, yours doesn't have that. You want to highlight, again, the fact that you're able to, get answers to whatever your questions are, that the app's helping to produce a lot faster than your competitors. So you can bring that up. And again, if you're providing back to sort of the services piece, but if you're also providing any best practices, maybe there's a maturity model that you have and you're moving customers along that level of sophistication, and your competitor doesn't have that, that's another area that you want to highlight to really stand out. So, and I've also got here level of innovation, product vision, and roadmap. So really we want to sell a lot of our customers on where we're going. They're not just buying us for the here and now, but they want to make sure that we're going to continuously innovate and keep up with the market demands and needs of the market. So it's very important that you have your customers buy into that, but you can also bring that up as a differentiator, in particular if you're not seeing that from a competitor. Sometimes competitors will actually post what's coming on their website. You can get that, but it's often difficult to find out that information. And other considerations can just be, in terms of the company itself, like how viable is the organization? Are they looking at possibly being acquired? So is there going to be a lot of disruption at that organization where it might be difficult to get help, et cetera, during a period of time? In some cases, you will find out about these things. You know that there's potential for that. And then also any financial conditions. Again, if they're going through any uncertainty at all, the strength of their leadership, you can look at Glassdoor and different things to see, how well their CEO is liked. And again, just use some other ways of really bringing this out. And a lot of times what I would do is I'll have questions to ask that I'll put in the battle card, and that will sort of uncover to your buyer, some of the issues, again, that might be being faced with a competitor that they're talking to. One of the things that was really odd too, when I was doing some research, we hired a company that would go in and speak to our competitor directly. And we found out like the actual sales process itself was extremely arduous. You had to go through 2 separate paths before you would actually even get to a quote. They would finally combine everything at the quote, but you had 2 separate demos if you wanted, let's say, 2 aspects of their solution. So that's also important. You can talk about that as well. Again, how great the sales experience is going to be. All the experiences along the customer journey is really, really important. So I just wanted to bring that up. Another one could be like implementation cycle, like the time to value and highlighting, how important it is. So again, these angles have worked in the past, so that's why I've kind of highlighted these ones in particular. So on to the next slide. So really, if you're going to get competitive intelligence data beyond just the functionality, again, you can go to product review sites to get that. You can look at their support sites to try to get that information. Again, if you've got a demo environment, great, and you can take a look and see what they have. But I find it really helpful to conduct third-party interviews with customers on why they purchased or why they switched. We were using a company called Iceberg IQ. And so that really helped us because, again, as a third party, you just basically give them a brief with some of the main things that you want to find out from your customers. And really, they can tell you about not just the software, but again, the overall experience they had all the way to buying and then really post-purchase. And again, you want to leverage their quotes. We had another situation where we had a previous customer that went to another organization and they really wanted to use a competitor software. And we were able to go in back and take these quotes again and show them this is why it's problematic to consider that for your organization. And it helped her kind of solidify with the rest of the buyers on the committee as to why our solution was the better choice. Again, you can evaluate packaging and pricing. So as packaging and pricing, you can look at their website again, or do some sort of interview behind the scenes and find out how they're structuring that. Because a lot of times, what I also found out is that we had a competitor that was going with 5 licenses out of the gate. So it was a land and expand kind of strategy, but it made our pricing look more expensive. So just how they approach that through the sales process, but then also how they actually have priced their product is important. And their overall go-to-market approach and positioning and messaging. So again, we look at verticals, how are they positioned in the market? And that's kind of back to even what their mission is and where that they plan to go. And analyst reports are really helpful for this also, because a lot of times if you look at something like a Forrester Wave report, for example, you can see how the analysts have actually evaluated them and do they buy in to their vision. Often there's quotes in there. And we've leveraged our quotes because in that one case we did really well. So anything on the vision was also included in any kind of pitch decks.